Right. Welcome to our session, the live coaching session on a weekly basis. I'm your host and coach, Maratib, and we are going to leash and unleash a very brand new series on foundation of personal success. Um, in few weeks recently, I think from last 6 weeks, we tried to explore the notion of who I am and how we can find our voice. And we try to explore ourselves in various dimensions. In different perspective, we try to understand the nature of ourselves and our relationship with the external world. So, uh, so I think the part one, part two, part three, four, five, we have been conducting very successfully. The old recordings are on our YouTube channel. So, and it is still continue. I will present the part six very soon as well. Uh, on the other hand, we are starting we are starting our new series of foundation of personal success, and it is also going to be a couple of parts as well. Today is part one, and it quite to be a very long web series as well. uh, every session every week on Sunday, we will give only 45 minutes to 60 minutes, so 1 hour session we will dedicate it. Uh, and today is I'm going to give you introduction what it will be including in a whole web series, and I cordially invite you to add your content if you think that it could be also part of personal success. When I say the foundation is just like a root of anything. And everybody in this world is running after chasing to different things, thinking, working, planning, and doing all activities for either on a path of success or a path of greatness. So I will try to elaborate this whole series that how we can be on a path of greatness through personal success. So, and obviously that's very customized. Every individual is very different from other individual, but the basic level of human being, we all are same. We think more or less in the same way. um, the technology we use also, we are familiar with each other. Paradigms which we have also uh, more or less same. So today I will write all these things on a whiteboard, and I invite you to participate yourself, that what more things we can add, and we will try to make a whole picture of personal success. Um, the agenda for this series is to help you to achieve your all life goals and the fulfill, fulfillment of the mission. So let me brief you. I'm going to show you my screen, and for example, we can start from here. Let's say it is we are here and it's self, where I am, and I want to achieve everything which I want. Okay, now there are many dimensions of personal success, and what we cover in this whole series, I will show you. So first of all, we will try to understand also the power of choice, that every individual has been given a power of choice to exercise in the whole life. Then we our success is also depend on nature of principles which we are following, which we have derived in our mind, and according to which we are deciding every next moment of our life. So it is about natural principles. In this include the principle of hard workness, principle of harvesting, law of gravity, integrity, trustworthiness. All natural principles will come in this thing. Then one of very important thing, we will cover four intelligences, and in four intelligences means we are divided ourselves into four endowment as a human being, and these four dimensions are our physical intelligence, our mental intelligence, our emotional intelligence, and our spiritual intelligence. So these four dimensions makes a perfect human being, and the degree of perfectness depend on how equally these four intelligences we have developed in ourselves, which is correlated with personal success. Next, we can explore the notion of credibility. Let me use the other font. Yeah. So, credibility. Why credibility is important? Because the credibility is the path to get the success in my external world. If I'm not credible, nobody will trust on me. And how I will be more credible in other people's eye or even in my eyes? There are two things which is related with credibility. Number one, we need to have very strong and very complete character. And then we can combine the character with competence. So when character and competence both meet and both fulfill each other, then the credibility will achieved and can be exercised, and that is related with our personal success. We will discuss also how we can develop our character and how we develop our competency. So in other sense, I can say that the credibility is also how we are producing desired results. Because if we are more credible, it does mean that we are achieving our desired results on a personal level and also results which other people are expecting. In terms of if I am boss of the business, I am credible in my customer's eye, in my employee's eye, because I am and my organization is producing results. So that credibility is directly referring to the result. We can also call the self as a personal success. So there is a natural power of choice, natural principles, four intelligences, and then the credibility. All are related directly with our personal success. Let's go further. And that is my voice. And we have already discussed in last couple of sessions when we will try to discover ourselves that our voice lies where our physical need, our intelligence of knowledge or talent meet with passion, and that is governed by our spirit. Where does it meet? That nexus, that point is generate our voice. So if we need to know our voice, if we need to discover my voice, so I have to discover first my talent, my passion, my emotions. Passion and emotions are same. My spirit and my fitness, or we also call money making, or how much resources we have. So body, mind, heart, spirit, talent, passion, spirit, and fitness or money, when they meet each other, then our voice is generated. So our personal success is directly linked with our voice. And in our world, in today's world, many people around 90% people have lost their voice, or actually they haven't discovered, so they cannot lose, because people can lose those voices which once they discovered. So 90%, 95% people around us, they never discover their true voice, which is directly linked with their personal success. I call the true voice, inner voice, which is directly related with the personal success. Now, also the personal success belongs to the notion of actualization. Actualization, anybody can describe what does it mean by actualization? You can unmute yourself if you want to participate, or if you are not able to unmute, I can unmute you. Yeah, anyone can explain what does it mean by actualization? Or you can type a chat as well if you are unable to unmute yourself.
Can you explain a little bit more what you mean by actualization?
Yeah, sure. The personal success is directly linked with actualization. When I say the personal success, the true personal success, and there are two types of personal success actually. One success which other people want us to praise us, and we can become more credible, more inspiring for other. And for this, we can use many things, many texts, many personal development things, many personality development related things I can use, and I can win other people. But that's a temporary and not the permanent, because that's very, it's not according to what the principle demand us, natural principles. And the other type of success is the permanent real success. The real success is the one where you satisfy with yourself at the peak level, where you will understand every phenomena around us with as it is, without other people's definition to these things. What? So that is a very important concept. So I'm actually talking about not a journal success. I'm talking about net actual success. So actualization means when we see and perceive the things beyond any biasness, any prejudice, any other agendas, then the real worth of that thing or that idea or concept we will seeing as an actual thing. And it's a very difficult, because we brought up ourselves by our parents, grandparents, schools, our society, our media, our teachers, everyone. with lot of prejudice, biasness. It's their own definition of the things, their own language perception, which is different from town to town, city to city, country to country, culture to culture. So and also with five senses, and that all processed by our brain. So when these all things meet, then we get a fake or temporary definition or image of the world around us, which change very rapidly, and we collapse. We often fail because of these things. Because five senses cannot be same for everyone. The brain transformation, the brain processing is different from person to person. The perception is different from person to person, group to group, family to family, even city to city, and one culture to other culture. So these are all different because of their creation were different. And that does not give us actual world. That I explained in the last session, whether we are physical being or spiritual being, in very detail about this concept. So in actualization world or actual world, you will get the concept and you can watch from the YouTube channel. But here I'm just briefing you what the actualization mean. So personal success is directly linked with actualization, real personal success or actual success, that we will or we must be beyond or free from biasness, free from other people's definition and labels to the things, our faulty perceptions, our misguided five senses or limited five senses, and our dual nature of brain. So I'm speaking here more critically all these things. Obviously, these are all things we get the knowledge and try to understand the things around us. But I'm talking about here these more things as a critical understanding. So when we see the things around us beyond this biasness, beyond definition and labels, faulty perceptions, five senses, dual nature of brain or misguided brain, and we will keep away from fake realities, or then the remaining real world we will see, and that is called actualization. And that is actually our real world. And successful people, really successful people, always live and try to locate their mind in actual world here. So that's why it's very important. The personal success, for personal success, the actualization or living in an actual world is very important. And we will cover also many things in this. So I'm just going to erase this so that we can cover other things as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Right. We will also discuss and think about in a deeper way about personal success in terms of many other things. For example, sorry. For example, our values. The values, obviously, everybody has values, and these values are not harmonized with natural principles, with the actual world which we are living, but actually, our values are as temporary and fake as our other things are. That's why we are not successful and we feel mediocrity in our life. And we do not achieve what we were looking for because of our values, which were based on basically on social mirrors. So we made our values based on what other people are doing in the society. And our true values never been in exercise, never been in our thoughts. And that leads to our failure. So we need to discover our values in a true sense. So I will divide also values into 4 dimension as well. So in a physical way, in a mental way, in a emotional way, and in a spiritual way. So your physical dimension of life will have lot of values. Your mental intelligence or mind, which is very important, will have so many values and notions. Your passion or your heart related dimension have many values. And your spiritual intelligence or your spiritual way or your conscious, which is responsible, has so many values. So we need to know these values, yeah, and then we need to understand these values as well. We need to define them, and then we need to follow them. So our values are actually are double standards or fake standards built by other people. But our really true values, which I call true values, are built by ourselves by constantly deep, thought provoking procedures, and which nobody can snatch from you. So that's the notion of true values. So, for example, determination, integrity, trustworthiness, shyness, passionate, philosophical way, physically, technically. These are all values which we have to explore in ourselves, and we need to live by values. So that's directly linked with our personal success. So that we will cover as well. Let's go to the next level. Our personal success or actual success is directly related with the level of our philosophical mindset we have. What does it mean? The belief system in which we live, that can be guided by any philosophy which we are following, any religion which we are following, or any other modern notion or field which we are following. We need to understand these things not in very detailed, but on a very explicit understanding, very clear. So, because time and again, we come across any philosophical approach in our life, or we get inspired by others, whether we follow any religion or not, that very notion whether create an obstacle with us or misguide us or maybe educate or guide us. But we have to be very clear, very transparent, and very honest in order to drive our personal success. And we need to define very clearly that what type of school of thoughts or paradigms, whether we are scientific paradigm or philosophical paradigms, we are going to follow. So these are related with personal success. And in our modern world, all people, whether they are belongs to any culture, they belongs to very philosophical way, or they are religious, or they are very scientific mind, or maybe mix of all. Yeah, I think 1 second. I need to change my things, settings. Yeah, now it's come. So these are the things which we also cover. You can also add in this spirituality as well. Many people, they don't belongs to any of group as such, but they are very spiritual. They follow spiritual links or some gurus or mentors. So that is also related with personal success. So I will not going to tell you this religion is good, this type of science is good, this philosophy is good, or other is bad. No, no. We will try to understand these notion, and we need to choose what suit for our personal success. Yeah. So because these are very subjective and vast things, everything has a very different paradigm. So also the next think a next factor which is related to our personal success is itself success versus fake success. That's very important because we live in the world where we only follow the social media or misguided by our brain many times. And we really don't know what really success is. And that is directly linked with our own self. So we will specifically discuss these two notions as well. Yeah. We will also try to understand what the race mean, where the notion of racism we see and we experience, whether we are racist or we are victim. We will also discuss how quickly our language has evolved and guide us or misguide us. Is it more very good or more bad? So we will discuss this as well. Our own belongings to our culture or country or city. So our region. Yeah. Also our religion in more critical way uh, because 70-80% population of the world belongs to any religion anyway. So like I said here, the religion play very important role in many people's life, whether negatively or positively. So here we will try to understand these notions, what they are, and how we need to understand in terms of our personal success. So race, language, region, and religion. Race also you can say the ethnic as well. Here just we need to try very clear understanding of these things, which many people may have very good ideas from the schooling and later, but my approach here is actually in actual way, in actual thinking. For example, the definition of race you have been taught by your teacher or parents or media based on your country or your city or your own pattern of living around you. That could be not beyond from biasness, prejudice, misinterpretation, wrong understanding, and previous generations' agendas for the next generation, which you are. So we know these all things. But my approach is not to tell you in this way. My approach will be in the actual way. Yeah. So that is directly linked with personal success. We let me clear. Also, The personal success is directly linked with our continuing education and professional development. The professional development where we learn different skills, professional development, uh, we start to maybe earn new degrees, new education, like at the moment you are doing. So why you are listening or watching this? Because you are trying to learn something unique which can be significant for your life. So these are all professional and continuous development and lifelong learning. We have to, we call it lifelong learning. So these are the things which we will focus on this. One more important thing which is directly with our personal success is more critical, and that is possibly I will try to explain in the actual world is God versus ego, or maybe that topic could be advanced one. Let me tell you just ego development. Yeah, ego development. That is an advanced topic, but I will cover in this because it is directly linked with the personal success. Ego, maybe some people will think that it is a negative term. Uh, Mostly people use ego as a negative term. Um, Obviously, because of ego, there are many positive things we do as well. But here I will try to explain you how ego leverage the level of failure in our personal life, where we start to develop some values, some misguided concept, some mindset in the way that we never achieve success or be on a path of success or the path of greatness. So that ego development, if we are not rightly guided, that ego development will lead us on a path of failure. And we will fail again and again, not for becoming a positive, but again and again to become more worse, unfortunately. So I have a deep understanding here. I will try to share with you that what this ego development is. Yeah. So that we will discuss. It's also actually topic of spirituality as well. But here I will tell you, explain you in a secular way, that a non-religious, not in a non-religious way. Yeah. So that's very important. Any questions so far? We have just 5 to 10 minutes more, and then we will close the session. Okay. Let's go further. And what other things I will cover in this? that the notion of fear and suffering sufferings in our life. Can somebody define that? What does it mean by fear or suffering means? Both are different. What I mean to say, fear, every successful person or a normal person like me and you or anybody who's watching this will have many fears in the life. That could be the fear of success, fear of failure, fear of death, fear of being illness, fear of bad future, fear of becoming poor or bankrupt or lost of the business or lost of any organ or become injured or become parentless or childrenless or many things. So that fear actually make you restless when you think about your future. So in other way, fear is directly linked with your future. So people who are very much want to live in future or living in future, they are more fearful. And when this fear becomes disorder in a mental way, in a psychological way, then that turns into phobias. So obviously that you can find from any psychology related material what these phobias are. But personal success is directly linked of fear of failure or different kinds of fears, which all are related with future. And other thing is suffering. The suffering is in result of something which you have bad experience in the past or even is still going on. And suffering is always related with any past event, past bad relationship, past experience of living without any dear one. Somebody lost the parent or friend or spouse or children or friend or anything. So, and now he or she is suffering, you know. So that suffering will make also him or her restless, and it's very, very troubling. Constantly living in suffering will make the people very passive and misguided by their fears. Very, very demotivated type of lifestyle that person has. So fears and sufferings we will also cover in this personal success journey. That's very important. Yeah. Also, the last topic, but obviously I will keep add different things as well. We will also discuss personal success in terms of our good and bad. or what we call it right and wrong, or ethical or unethical. Yeah. So these type of things all are related again, um, in a different world. But for my personal success, I need to have a right understanding about what does it mean by good and bad, right and wrong, and super wrong and super good. So what are these actually? How these notions come and how I should handle it? Are they just a fictitious thing, or they are something, are real things which I have to follow? So, and because that's also related with personal success, because good, bad, right, wrong, these are directly linked with our dimension, which is spiritual intelligence, and our conscious directly deal with it. So actually, it is a science of conscious. But again, the conscious has different levels as well. The right, wrong, bad, good, bad is a very basic level of understanding of conscious. There is a super conscious level as well, and other levels of conscious as well. When people do more learn this actualization or spirituality, then you can also learn a lot of consciousness in a higher level. Yeah. So that's also one of the important topic we will cover. Now, on a basic level, I have clear here what we will cover in this. So now you tell me if we should add any other things, uh, or maybe if you have a thought that should not be part of this personal success, any of that thing. So let me know. So, and then I will summarize this to close this session. Anybody wants to comment or have the thought?
Maratib?
Yes, yes, Jenny.
I do have one thought on the fear. I just wanted to share in my life that fear is something that will hold one back from success for sure, because it can control you and stop you from your personal growth. So that fears can be very unhealthy, at times. And also with the suffering aspect, is how I respond to suffering that's important. Like not as a victim, but as my response would be successful or not. It's such a waste to be a victim.
Yeah, it is directly linked with the feeling of being victimized. And when you feel you are victim, it means that you will not share your mind or your agendas with other, and you will, because you have lost or you will lose your own natural voice, and then you will lose your credibility, and all things which we have discussed here, all will be go into negative. So
Absolutely.
these are very important. Actually, everything which we are just knowing on a basic level, which we will cover in our next sessions, one by one, in a different dimension, are all correlated. So obviously, if somebody does not live with For example, with true values, so it means that he or she will not practice the power of choice. And if you don't have a power of choice, you cannot cope your fears and suffering. And if you cannot cope with fear of suffering, then you will lost your voice. And if you lost your voice, then you will lose your character and competence, and hence you will not get desired result. So, and then obviously you will be not on a personal success person. So everything is related with everything. So once you start to lose one basic thing or ignore the basic thing, the all other things start to lose or shaky or not in practice. So that's why these things are very important. And so any other question or thought? And next session we will touch one of these things. Um, might be ego development, or because many some of the things I covered in my previous coaching sessions as well. Um, but obviously some many things we will cover in this series. So yeah, so if I will, maybe I can add or one or two or three things also, but let's see what we can do. So any question, any thought you want to add or remove? Right. So thank you very much for today's session. And I will upload this um, on a YouTube channel. And I would request if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are trying to build a community of same people, same mind-like people, and where we will build a great community with lot of fulfillment and immense resource, which will contribute towards success and real world. So thank you very much for your time, and see you next time.